Hey guys, Chris Honeycutt here with some more Thursday Thoughts. Today we're talking about communication. Now, my mentor John Maxwell once said, communication is just another word for leadership. And why is that? Think about it. Leadership can't really go unsaid, unspoken. You can't be silent in your leadership. Everything must be verbalized. Everything must be going out, not staying in. The Bible uses communication in the way of leadership by using the allegory of the shepherd and the sheep. Jesus said in John 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Using that word voice is key to understanding this concept. That leadership can't go unspoken. It can't be silent. You have to vocalize it. You have to actually communicate what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, what you want other people to do as well. So the best route in communication is to over-communicate. Always try and get out there to all the people that need to hear it, what is necessary, what needs to be done now, what we need to anticipate later, and do it in maybe 3 different forms. Maybe call a person, then also send a text as a follow-up reminder, send an email as a summary. Things like that go a long way. That way people can't have excuses saying they didn't know about it. So why is communication important in the first place? Because it really prevents a lot of other troubles. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. We get frustrated, if not outright angry, when we misunderstand something, when we're being told something maybe we already know. There's a lot of sense of frustration in the tone of voice that we use. So when we're coaching maybe our team members, when we're trying to communicate about a project, when we're just speaking to our spouse, communication and how it's delivered is just as important as what is delivered. The great Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel." So always check your tone of voice. This is why this little thing right here is not always great for communicating as a leader. Context is removed. I can text something to somebody, but their perception of me, my tone of voice, is up to them. It's not up to me. So this points to another aspect of communication is clarity. In your tone of voice, sometimes if you are frustrated, that's just naturally going to come out. But it's where if you can anticipate the conversation, if you can think about what you're wanting to say and what you want them to do with that information, and that will bring clarity. That means that you're not involving as much emotion into the conversation. Communication needs to always be as clear as possible. You're outlining what you want them to do, where you want them to go, and what is the result of this conversation. I'm part of a business networking group here in the Myrtle Beach area called GBN, and I love my chapter. They're great people. We have 1 minute to share about what we do and how it relates to other members, trying to get referrals. And so I come in there not as Pastor Chris, but as a John Maxwell coach. And so what I do ahead of time is I anticipate the opportunity and I outline in my head what I'm trying to communicate in that 1 minute. A lot of people might call this an elevator pitch. This is where you need to outline in your head exactly what you want to say and how you want to say it. And so what I do when I get there is I'm ready by just thinking ahead. When I get there, I already know what I'm going to say. A lot of folks will compliment me in my delivery of that 1 minute. They'll say, "Well, hey, you must have just been rehearsing that." Like, not really. I just think about something on the way there and I just go with that. And this is where a lot of folks make communication, make speaking to other people so much more complex than it has to be. We communicate, we talk all the time. Some of the best speakers don't even know that they're good speakers. They may think of public speaking and just having regular conversations are two different things. In some ways they are. We need to think of it as simply communicating, simply having a conversation with other people. And when we do that, we don't get so nervous. Anticipation is just another word for planning ahead. This is where if you already know what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, how you want that conversation to go, what you want it to result in, then you've already figured everything out. And now it's just up to you to have a conversation. So in every opportunity I have, whether it's speaking on a Sunday morning, whether it's doing a podcast, whether it's on a phone conversation that I might have, I already know what I'm going to say. So I want to share two forms of coaching that I employ for my daily conversations. And sometimes this is with even my son. Sometimes it's with a team member from my church. Sometimes it's with my coaching group. I might do this for a client as well, but there's two forms of coaching that I use. One of them is corrective coaching. This is where you as a leader are trying to, guess what? Correct a mistake. Correct some behavior that is off target. And you're trying to, in a graceful way, a tactful way, correct some behavior from a team member that doesn't meet the mark. Corrective coaching is not yelling. It's not angry. Coaching itself is just asking questions. So asking the question, what went wrong here? What did you do in this situation? Did you make sure you did this? A, B, and C. And there are two forms of corrective coaching as well. There's immediate, where, hey, there's some pasta and it's boiling over, and you know what? You need to tell your son who's trying to make spaghetti at home in the summertime to make sure that he's not going to burn the house down. And so you as a parent are doing some corrective coaching in the immediate sense. But coaching, again, is asking good questions to bring out the right answers. And this is where if you're talking, in my case, to my son, hey, did you watch the pot? Did you put some salt in the water? Did you turn down the heat a little bit to make sure it's not going to boil over? And then there's the other form of corrective coaching, which is postponed. That means that, you know what? You can wait to bring this up another day. Maybe you want them to chew on their mistakes. Maybe you want them to realize what path they should have taken. And then you come back to them and say, well, hey, what did you learn? What could you have done better? Again, using questions to bring out some introspection. And the other form of coaching that I use is positive coaching. You're trying to coach people up. You're trying to not maybe correct mistakes. You're trying to get them to anticipate any mistakes they might have, but really to take the proper steps on their journey of growth. And this too has an immediate and a postponed sense. The immediate would be, you know what, you're in the moment, your team member is about to maybe make a presentation, your team member is about to step into whatever responsibility they've been tasked in, and you want to coach them up before that. You want to reinforce that they are on the right path, that they are taking the right steps on their journey of growth. The postpone might be where, again, you let them chew on that opportunity. You let them process it. You let them think about what they did right, wrong, and everything in between, and then you follow up with them. Again, asking those same questions. What did you learn? What could you have done better? So communication and coaching go hand in hand. It's hard to coach somebody if you don't want to talk to them. It's hard to coach somebody if you're not willing to step in the moment and either coach them up or to help them catch a mistake. You as a leader have to communicate. You have to step in. You have to step up. You can't sit on the sidelines. You can't expect them just to figure it out themselves. You as a leader have to coach them up. You have to communicate. You have to tell them, again, what you're wanting to accomplish, what you want to see out of them. And then you leave them to do their thing and to grow and for them to understand what your role is in the process. A lot of people think that coaching and communication sometimes it's not as necessary as it is. There's nothing wrong with over communicating, making sure that people have no excuse, no reason to say that they didn't hear about something, that you didn't notice something. It also is so crucial to clearly communicate. Have clarity in your conversations. Give clarity to your expectations, your goals, and the outcome of what you want to accomplish. And then making sure your tone of voice, how you say things, making sure you can bring context as much as you can into conversations. If they are personal conversations, intimate conversations, if you will, you need to do it in person or over the phone. You don't need a text and you don't need an email. Context is removed. And therefore, people will receive you how they perceive you. And so this is where, guys, you need to take seriously this leadership lesson of communication. I am still not the master of it. I still need to get things out that I'm still keeping in. You have to anticipate ahead of time. Yes, do a little bit of planning and also anticipate in your own mind the expectations. Is this going to go well? Is this going to be a difficult conversation? And prepare yourself for that outcome. And so this is where you as a leader can't not communicate. You must be able to put yourself out there and bring people in to what you're trying to do. That's it for Thursday Thoughts. Have a great day.